The idea of everyone working in isolation, away from their coworkers, I think is very, very distressing. It misses the idea that so many of us already benefited from at an earlier stage of our careers of real-time dialogue.
One of the other things we saw during COVID, not to go back so abruptly, but during COVID, we saw the work from home paradigm expanded greatly. And even in traditional industries that are normally like office-based or whatever, workers came home in droves. And it seems that stuck a little bit, right? How has this impacted your understanding of work, and how do you think the workplace has been impacted by this shift?
Well, I wrote an appendix in the book, very critical of the work from home moment. I'm quite encouraged, by the way, to see how little of it seems to be lasting. I know that a lot of people talk as if they think that this is here to stay. There is a just ongoing massive list of companies who started off a couple years ago saying, we're now, flexible work. You don't have to come in if you don't want, and we're not going to make people come back to the office. And virtually all of them have reversed course on that. Obviously, I'm well aware that there are some jobs and situations that didn't require people to go into an office environment even before COVID. It's interesting, when I've been critical of work from home, some have said, what's the problem? I've been doing this for 20 years. And I go, well, I don't know what the problem is. If you've been doing it for 20 years, you're not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about people that, as you just said, in the COVID moment, decided that what had been working forever was no longer necessary. And why is it such a big deal to me? Well, because I don't believe that the way in which we were doing things happened for no reason. I think that there is an unbelievable benefit to the community, to the collaboration, to the brand that can be formed, the mentorship. The idea of everyone working in isolation, away from their coworkers, I think is very, very distressing. It misses the idea that so many of us already benefited from at an earlier stage of our careers of real-time dialogue, of real-time interaction, of walking down the hallway and asking a coworker a question, of being recognized by your boss, having the sort of physical, embodied opportunity to celebrate successes, to deal with the difficulties and tensions that came up. I think that we are doing unspeakable damage to young professionals that are not being given the chance to collaborate and be mentored by more senior folks within a company. Now, does this apply to every company, every business, and every situation? Of course it doesn't. But I'm speaking in general levels because it's a general subject.
Yeah, I can attest. My office is in a very large walk-in closet in our house. And I've spent the last 3 years working most days in that office. And I've spent about half my career working from home and about half my career in traditional workplaces and on location for films and things like that. And not only can I attest that it isn't for everybody, but even those people who handle it well, you have to be really, really committed to being outside, to mixing with other people, because my tendency is to just be in my cave all the time. And it definitely has an effect. So on one hand, I feel a real blessing that I'm able to work from home and produce and be effective. And at the same time, I've seen the flip side, and I know how damaging it can be. This episode of Rapid Response was brought to you by CTC Math. Visit them at ctcmath.com today.